How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video. With me, Jamie from Scrub Games. Today we're going to go over my updated Gogeta deck list. I did have a few people comment on the last one asking for an update, wanting to provide an update, and today is the day. So here on the screen, as you can see, this is my list that I've come up with. It's now what I'm using and always plan to use after a bit more testing since the release of Draft Box 6. I would have played this in the last webcam event I played in, but due to not having the Godly Auras, which is like a requirement for the deck, I had to again go for Gotenks instead. So still I had fun playing Gotenks, but then I would like to play this. I would like to see how this would perform because it is a fun deck, and I have after playing testing with it a lot, I completely understand now I have fun with the turn, how to play out the turns, and from testing it's been quite fun and quite strong. So just in case you haven't, you're not one of the people that have been waiting for this update, or are just looking into videos and come across me, or just like Gogeta in general, I'll go over the list and the leader. So with the leader, still using the new leader because untapping 2 is a lot better than untapping 1. While the other leaders have their benefits, untapping 2 and Self Awakening is really strong, and also to get an extra draw once per turn by using Union is very good as well. So with the first order, it's built in Self Awakening in the fact that when you attack, you choose up to 1 card from your life. So that means you could choose 0 or 1, so you don't have to take any if you don't want to, but you can if you want. And then you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, you grab a 1 cost extra card, 1 cost red extra card among them, add to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So we've got plenty of targets in the deck. We've got 9 targets, which is a good amount. And also, as you can see, none of them are the skillless one, because as I said before, I don't like the skillless bit, because apart from tapping, using an extra card to get 2 materials, or you can get materials for the Unison, for the Gogeta chain, but outside that it does nothing, and I'd rather not have cards that don't do anything outside of just for like one tiny little thing. Like most of the cards in here, apart from the other one super combo thing, have alternative uses, or when they're used for what they need to be used, they got extra effects like the Godly Auras. And it's got an auto that's the same on the front, on both sides, which is once per turn when you activate a Union skill, draw 1 card. Good thing about this, and being on both sides, is the fact that on your Awaken turn, you can activate your Veku, discard a Godly Aura and Vegeta to play Veku, trigger the Godly Auras, or trigger these if you use the Godly Auras, trigger them, and then get a draw from leader effect for the Veku, and then you can swing with the Veku. After battle, use the effect to sack it off, so send it a drop to grab out the 2 materials you use for it, and then use your leader to awaken, and then drop the Gogeta chain and then draw again. So on the awaken turn, having that on both sides means you can get quite a lot. So on your awaken turn, potentially you can draw 1 on the front side, untap 2, and then draw another 1 for the Union by doing a Gogeta chain, and then swing and get another draw. So you can potentially get 3 draws and untap 2 from the leader awaken turn if you play it right on your turn, which is really strong. I love that. And then as Awaken, it's typical when you're left at 4 or less, untap 2, you can choose up 2 energy, untap them, and then flip over. And then on the Awaken side is permanent double strike, which is nice. Remember that double strike is really good. And also standard auto, and it's got attacks, draw 1 card, but also you gain 5k as well. And there's normally when you swing with the Awaken side, you're swinging as a 20k double strike leader. That's really good. And then, as I said, the same also when you use once per turn when you use a Union skill, draw 1 card. So that's the leader's front side. It's really good, very strong. I love when it's Self Awakening, because if you ever have a leader with no Self Awakening, unless you've got an easy or consistent way to awaken, it's not helpful. You're clogging up the deck with, unless it's part of your core of your deck. It's not really helping, but what Self Awakening cards means you don't have to rely on your opponent back in the day when you had to rely on your opponent to attack you. So that's the leader, and we get into the main deck. So the targets we got for the leader's front side effect, we have 4 Wolfang Fists, 3 Violent Rays, and 2 After Image. So the deck is, if you've read the Gogeta chain and well, if you just read the Gogeta chain, you know the Union is Union centric. The core route rolls around unions, and the Red's got the new benefit. Red's got like a new identity essentially. Is no longer just burn effect. It's no longer burn or power reduction. It's now also added markers. So like green take away markers, red adds markers, which is really good. So what your main thing is to do is before you drop the Gogeta chain is drop any unison down, which we run 6 of 6 in total, 2 different ones, which we'll go over in a bit. So the ratios for this is I've gone for Wolfang Fist because you can play it for free as long as you're Union, and as I said, it's Union centric. So you want to try and get a Union, you want to try and see a Union and put it down. Unison, not Union, Unison. And Wolfang Fist is great in the fact that you can play it for free, and it reduces the power of the attacking card when you play it by 15, which is very strong. So on a leader, most leaders when they're awakened, they're 15k. So when you opponent, and it doesn't affect unisons, but it affects battle cards or leader cards. So that's great when your opponent starts with a leader card. You can Wolfang Fist, put down 15, and now if they're swinging at your leader, who's also 15, they've got to put quite a lot of combo power up to try and do some threats and damage. And even on a unison, if they're swinging at unison, trying to think, we'll get a free draw and take a marker off for free, use Wolfang Fist. Now they've got a combo up just to get rid. You've lost one card. They got to come up more if they want to take a marker off unison. And then we got 3 Violent Rays. I feel as comfortable with 3. You can add 4 if you want to. Maybe take out Wolfang Fist if you want, but I'm happy with 3 because it requires. Unlike Wolfang Fist, it's not free. And even though it costs 1 energy, it's also discard as well. But it's a really good card and a needed card for red to help with some aggression because it can be able to stop all 20k or more battle cards from swinging. That turn is really strong. Like shuts down the turn for decks like Dark Broly, Gogeta Br as well potentially, things like that. You can stop. And then the last one we got is After Image Technique. Reason for the 2 of these is because 1, it's free because you can set Sparking quite easily in this deck, and also it can. While it doesn't negate the attack, at least it can minus something down. So you don't have to minus down the card that's attacking with After Image, but you can at least minus anything that doesn't have a barrier, and that's not that's a battle card. So if your opponent's leader swinging, you can use it minus one of their cantrips or something that's 10k down to get rid of it off a battle card, or even reduce the power of a battle card that they can swing with power, and then give anything, either a battle card, be it a battle card, leader card, or unison as well. It's a good thing with unison. 40k power, meaning it's going to be they have to combo a lot if they want to push through, which is good for you because you use 1 card for free essentially to give yourself a massive boost. And they're either going to waste a load of cards trying to get over that, or just kill that battle. Most of the time it's going to be kill the battle. So I've got one for that because it's very easy to pull off, and it's just a nice defensive. Because once you get down to 4 life, you're going to protect it, and it means that you've got life then to use for it, which is really good. But as an extra, the only ever extra card we're running in the deck is free of Strategies Unit 7. The reason for this is because while the Gogeta chain can't be KO'd, which is very good, there are lots of other ways to get around the Gogeta chain. There's warping, there's bouncing, there's bounce back the hand, there's spinning back the deck, there's reducing power to get rid of it, things like that. But so the nice thing is once you get normally what you're going to do is be dropping the Gogeta chain on turn 3. And one thing the Strategies of Universe 7 does is make it a lot harder. It basically means that when you put on the chain, it's going to make it a lot harder for your opponent to get rid of the chain. So it's going to survive a turn, and if it can survive 1 more turn, you can put a lot of pressure on, because you're going to be putting a lot of pressure on from your turn 3 when you drop the chain, and then it puts some pressure in on your opponent's turn by having the auto of the 6 drop live when they do a first attack, being on -20 one of their cards, and then on your turn you have done it again to put more pressure in. So you normally so if you can get that to make it survive at least a turn. So there are some decks that you won't use again, like you won't use Strategies against a green deck because unless they're running Secret Identity, you're not really going to be worrying about them getting rid of your chain. But against things like blue, get things like like red in the mirror, or black, you're going to be trying to put that down so you can protect your chain. And with it being free, it's quite handy. And when you draw quite a lot as well, is just basically playing a card that gives you soft barrier is really good, and it gives all your Saiyans barriers. So if you've got multiple things on the field, like you've got a Vecchio still, or even if you've got multiple chains, if you end up going get the turn 4 and drop another chain, you can then play a second one to give both of them barrier to make it a lot harder. So that's all the extra cards. Now we get into unisons because that's what the deck centered around. And what I've gone for, what I prefer, I know a lot of people like the Gotenks from set 10. No, not sorry, set 11. But the only issue with my I find with that is it doesn't gain markers. Well, it can still draw you a card once per turn. It does gain markers. I like a unison that can gain markers on its own, or has a good minus skill. Like the Gotenks, you have to get up to 6. So if they manage to take any markers off it at all, then if they manage to get one marker off it after you've dropped it, unless you drop it on the same turn you do the chain, you're not going to be able to pull off the minus effect, because the chain only drops adds extra 3 markers, and you play it for and you can get 4 at marker. Well, you can get a marker from its own effect, and 2 when you play it. And it's also got the thing of when it does use ultimate, all it needs to do is have its marker power reduced down to 0, or a marker removed from it to lose all its skills after using it. So I find that great. So the ones I've gone for is 4 of the Gotenks Unison Rage, so 1 from the expansion before we got set 10, and 2 of the Lord Slug Giant Force. Now the reason for the Gotenks, as I think I said in my last video, is the fact that using its effect, using either its skills using either its skills minuses your opponent, minuses your leader down by 5k, so it turns your awakened leader to 10k. But then the auto on it makes up for it by if your leader's minus by anything, it gains 10k. So when it's got 2 good effects as well. One is to take a life to help yourself awaken, to basically help yourself awaken by taking a life out of hand, and minus yourself by 5k, which means it helps you awaken quicker, so you can flip over and get that extra energy. So it's just normally helpful for on turn 3 if you've got the chain ready, but that unison, you can go play the unison. If you're still at 5 life, you can go leader's effect or unison effect, take a life. Now you're at 4, you can awaken and drop the chain. And then the -2 effects, which is the main reason why I play this at 4 and play it in the deck itself, is it's -2. You look at minus your leader down by 5k, and then you look at your opponent's hand and discard from their hand, and so you get to have a look at your opponent's hand, which is really good because you get hand knowledge, very nice. And then you got either to discard a card from their hand that's 10k, I think either 10k exactly or 10k or less, or any dual color card. So against things like blue, when they use as a master super combo, you can rip that right out of their hand. So they've lost super combo, and 2, they have 1 less card to strave off your aggro. Or if your opponent, like against green, if your opponent's got cells in it, rip that straight out of their hand. And then you got some cards that like suit some super combos that are 10k or less that you can rip out their hand. But a lot of the time it's mainly for the hand knowledge, and then you got the bonus of because that basically lets you see if you can kill them that turn if you're aiming to, or if you can't kill them, what they've got to do on your next turn, or what they've got to defend themselves with. So that's all this nice. So that's one of the best things about Unison, and why I love it more than the Gotenks. So I feel with that effect, the hand knowledge is key. The taking something out of their hand is just a plus. And in the Ever Unison, because I found with in my old list I was just running 4 Unison, but I was finding sometimes when I get to turn 3 I haven't seen a Unison, so I have to dig. So I have to use the leader, swing the leader, try and dig more, take some unnecessary life. I found that having just 4 Unison is quite difficult, and since you don't want to waste, you do want to drop your chain, but you don't want to do it without Unison, because otherwise you're not getting the full effect. So I added in the Ever Unison, which is the Slug Giant Force. And the reason for this over the other ones we got is the fact that 1 has got critical, which is nice. That's a really nice thing to have. Being in pressure with crit that can't be tapped down by things like well, it's a lot harder to tap down unisons and stuff. So having crit on unison is quite nice. It's got a nice activate main as well, where you can activate main +1 marker. So it's got +1 skills 1, which is, once again is better than the Evergo tanks, where you get to discard a card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards through barrier, and minus it by 10k. Now that's a lot. 10k is a lot to minus through, and going through barrier is really helpful. And then it's got the other skill, which is a good thing for on your turn as well. If you don't need to get rid of something from your opponent's field, you've got a never marker skill, which is an alter, which means it can happen during your opponent's turn or your turn, but it's unlikely it's going to trigger during your opponent's turn due to what the effect, which is -4, so it's hefty. But then you're going to play it down for 2. You're going to drop the full chain, put an extra 3 markers on, so you're going to have 5 uniques. It's going to survive losing 4 markers and trigger that effect. And the auto is when your opponent activates a counter skill. So when your opponent activates a counter skill, a counter, you deal them 1 damage. So that's really good in the fact that if you look at it combined, along like most damage you're going to put down in 1 turn, is you're going to have the crit from slugs. That's 1 point of damage potentially, 1 critical point of damage. Double strike from your leader. That's at least 20k minimum. This is not including any combos as well. You've got then the Gogeta swing for 35, potentially through a -20 20 leader, and then you've got the King Piccolo, which I'll cover in a bit, which you can play for free. That can push for another 20k double strike. So that is potentially all of that is 7 damage. And if they've got any counter to stop it, you're burning extra damage, which if your opponent's Self Awakening, you're going to be putting them in a really tight spot and potentially finish. If they're on 2 life, you potentially, if they go to negate, you can then burn them down. So like anything like After Image is dead, like to mention magic, things like that. And just being able to just say if you negate one of my attacks, you're taking a damage anyway, which is really, really good. And also being a 15k is a standard as well, and 2 costs is what you want. So I went for those 2 because they're the 2 strongest 2 cost red unisons at the moment, that I feel anyway, and the perfect ones for the deck. And I've got, as I said, gone 6, so I can actually having the extra 2 in, make sure that I'm going to probably see. I'm most likely going to see 1 by the time I get to turn 3. So the next thing, as I said, I'm going to cover is the King Piccolo new rule. The new ruler. So this is another card that was introduced in Draft Box 3. It's got double strike. It's got a permanent of if your leader is red, which my leader is red. It gains 5k, and your opponent can activate blocker against this card's attack. Meaning, if your opponent's got a lot of blockers, then you have to worry. Well, you're mainly going to be clearing the blockers anyway with the 5-drop Gogeta, but it just means that if they've got any blockers that are more than 15k. They're not going to use it against blocker against it. There's got an activate main of if you have a unison. If you have a red unison in play with 3 or more markers, then you get to play it for free from your hand. But you can't play any more copies for the turn. And then also at the end of the turn, after you play this card, at the end of the turn, warp it. So it's really good because of the unison chain adding markers onto your unison. It's easily going to be able to play free, but the one thing you got to do is make sure that you need to at least have 2 markers on your unison before you start the chain. Go into the 5-drop, get an extra marker, and minus your opponent's board by 15, and then play it before you drop a 6-drop, because once you play the 6-drop, you can't play any other battle cards per turn. So you need to make sure you play this before you play the 6-drop. Your EX of the 6-drop. But it's a really good card in the fact that if for free once in a turn, as long as you've got 3 markers on unison, it's a 20k double strike base, which is really good. So you can put that free pressure as well as almost like an overrun for the deck. And then I'll go over the we got this, the last 2 cards down the Gogeta chain, or the quarter deck is I'm playing. Different from last time, I'm playing 3 Top of Retro Aid. So I didn't have Top of Retro Aid before because I was testing out other cards in the deck, and I didn't felt that the Topo was easily countered. And while it is easier to counter than Violent Rays, because it costs 2 instead of 1 Violent Rays, it does shut off the turn a lot easier than Violent Rays, meaning that with Violent Rays they can attack, they can still attack with their leader, Unison, and also anything 15k or less. That's a battle card. Whereas Tompo basically just says any other attack you do, might as well drop a 2. And with most of the top decks, like you got the Broly Vegix and stuff, they don't really have any counter plays that stop this from coming down. So now that it's been mained, maybe side decked but not mained, so it's still a good shot. Because most of the decks that would have a main thing for this to stop it down, blue isn't as strong. It wasn't one of the strongest decks. While blue is good, it's not one of the strongest colours. And against blue, they're not going to be really aggroing as much for a topo anyway, and you're going to be putting down a lot of pressure on against blue. And then the other colour, that's the only really colour to stop it really from coming down quite easily. Any other colour they can get maybe pop it or anything, but they can't really stop it from coming out at the moment. So I've put backings to help through aggro, because some of the decks are very aggressive as well. Like Vegix has got a lot more aggressive after my experience with it, and Broly Br as well. You just basically you need things like that to help stave off a turn. That's why Dormant potential unleash is so strong. So I've added 3 more in the deck, because even then at least it's combat power. And we've got we're playing the Raditz Stay on Youth again still, because it's just a really strong card. Being able to put any card on the bottom of your deck, they just draw 2 new cards. And red, I think red doesn't really have any ever good super combos like this. This is as close as we can come to a Paragus for red, because most of the red super combos they're just draw 1. And where you can be getting to standard 4 anyway, so you can drop your Unison and Chain, Gogeta Chain in 1 turn. It doesn't matter that your energy is always going to be red anyway, and you do want to filter your deck sometimes to get the good stuff in your deck. Like even if you get pressured down, you want to try and keep it 4 before you get a turn 3, and Raditz has a really good drop in helping. And being able to see 2 cards is really nice, because it allows you to if you've got any dead extra cards, because you do play quite a lot of extra cards and Unisons now. Being able to put some of those back to grab combo power is really helpful as well. So the last thing we've got now is the Gogeta core. So we're playing 4 each of the Goldioras. Obvious reason why is because they get beneficial effects when they're used for the Unison. So Goldiora helps you take a card, lets you take up to 1 card from life. So if you need Self Awaken, or if you want to take more cards to give you more cards to kill, then Goldiora helps you do that. And the Vegeta Goldiora is the definite staple in any deck running the Gogeta chain, because when it's used in the Union, you never care about the first auto, the other 2. You care about the second auto, and the Vegeta is really strong in the fact that when it's used for a Union, you get a look at the top 7 cards, find a Gogeta Br, and if you do add it, add it to your hand. If you do, it's got another card. So it's really good to just basically replace any card that you can't use at that turn or is dead. For a Gogeta chain, and to be able to try and help if you drop the 5 drop to find the 6 drop is really good. It gives you that really good consistency. And in my last list, I was playing 6 cards. I was playing 2 Goldiora and 4 of the 1 drop. From my testing, I never really played the 1 drop because there's other things I want to keep my energy up for, like a Violent Rays, things like that. So I got those to put 2. I cut the turtles down to 5 each instead of 6 each, and also replace the 1-drop Goku for the short Goku to give you extra negate. Because so that way, if you're unlucky, if you're really unlucky and you don't find any Violent Rays or any Topos, you can at least play the Goku's and negate. And the good thing is it comes back to your hand by discarding 1 in the end, so you're not losing it out for your. So it's reusable negate for your chain. And then the other Vegeta, we're still running the same Vegeta cards, but we've cut down the Vegeta preparing for battle down to 1, because it can be grabbed back from Veku, and it's just a better Vegeta target, because it can grab back your Gogeta cards of Veku from drop, which is really good. And then for the chain, well, we've got 3 Veku. I cut this down to 3 because even though it's really good, you can only play once per turn. And having 3, it means that you're more likely to see it from turn 3 to try and, as I said, get the Union, get the auto on both sides of your leader off, and get an extra attack in. So as I said, on your unawakened side, play the Veku to get the draw from the leader, swing and sack off to get the 2 materials back, flip over, then go to the chain and get the ever draw. Just there to add more, to make sure you're doing as much as possible in your awakened turn to do as much damage and much pressure. And then last few bits of the Gogeta cards. So as standard, 4 of the 5 drop, 4 of the 6 drop, and then 1 of the 8 drop. Now as you can see, I've cut the secret rare from here because you can't play it on the turn you play the 6 drop, and it's just a win more card. And I'd rather just have the 8 drop was still good, because then if you can, it gives you an alternative way to win. But if you get your opponent down to 2 life and you've got no field, just going EX evolve and then take it. You can then focus on getting rid of the battle cards and then go EX evolve, 8 drop and 6 drop, and burn for last 2 life. It's a nice alternative way to win if you can, and also even then dropping on top of the 6 drop if you want to. They just basically swing all the battle cards if they've got a lot of blockers, or you just want to put a lot of pressure into some of the battle cards, or you just really want to remove some of the battle cards. That's a good way to do it, because you can make sure it just keeps swinging your opponent's battle cards. So unless they can bounce it or get rid of it, you make sure to get rid of that. It's mainly there for the alternate win con by burning, and then the other chain is that you want to see those because that's the main focus of the deck. Outside the unison, which is get the unison down, get the chain down, and then protect the chain. The good thing about the chain is that you can wipe out any blockers. I mean, you can get some direct swings into the unison with the 5 drop and draw the 2 back. So you ditch the 2 units, you ditched 2 materials, play it. Ditch 2 materials, draw to play it for free as well. Coming out on free, it's perfect to turn sooner than the old chain. And the 6 drop is really good in the fact that whenever it swings or one of your opponent's cards attacks, you get to choose one of your opponent's cards at minus of 20k. The good thing about this is you get to minus the unison as well. The good thing about that is, like, say your opponent's got a unison with 3 markers on it. You declare an attack on a unison with it. Use the auto, minus the unison down to 0 with the skill, which drop a marker off it because its power's gone down to 0, and then you finish off with a double strike as well. The same with the leader. Like, that's one of the good things you can finish off with this leader as well. With this deck is with the 6 drop when it swings to your leader, it's a 35k double strike, so that's a lot of power against a 15k leader. But then on top of that, minus it by 20k is really good. And the good thing is if your opponent negates, you can choose something else for the minus 20k to get through it. While it doesn't get through barrier, it's still you can hit unison as well. Yeah, it's it's just really good, the chain. And normally you basically as long as you survive to turn 3, you can go off and put a lot of pressure on that turn 3. And if they do survive, the Gogeta chain helps you survive a bit more by having that extra. Well, if you have the unison and Gogeta chain with some Wolfman Fist behind it, it's going to be very hard for them to come back from that. And if you do decide to turn 4, you're normally guaranteed as long as the chain survives. But that's the list. That's my updated list. That's what I've gone for. And just slowly picking up the deck. I just need to get 1 more Lord Slug myself and 2 more of the King Piccolos. To have it completed myself. And I think I've got my last Wolfang Fist sorted. But yeah, this list I would go through in future. Well, until we see what's in the next set. Set 12 comes out in January, and that'd be interesting. But at the moment, for any events, I don't think we've got any more events coming. We've got finals, but I'm going to take Dark Broly for that because of the Demogorgon is still good, and it's easy to reuse that and keep dropping it. And because of because it's got Darker Armor stays, I'm just having more fun with. And I've also pimped that deck out to be almost all pre-release rare, so I'm liking that. But yeah, if you're interested in playing Gogeta, this is my personal list. Is what I would go for. And also, as I said, that was my reasons why, or what I've just said. But with the turn count, so in turn 1, you didn't really do much with your energy. You can leave it out for. You can leave an energy up to use like Wolfman Fist. You can for one of the extra cards. Normally, I say you're going first. You're going to charge past like most decks do. Turn 2, you're going to want to swing, take a life, and then look for one of the 1 drops. Like depending on the matchup, you might want Vital Rains more, but it depends what you see and what you can. If you can awaken, you can then drop the Unison then. But normally you turn 2, you want to just grab an extra card, and you want to leave the 2 energy up for Topo, just to basically just drop that for an extra 1 for an extra body, and 2 to stop any aggression against any aggressive decks. If it's not an aggressive deck, you can potentially play one of the Unisons, do a gain a marker skill, and just have it there ready for your Gogeta chain, so that way if you do awaken, you've got a 2 energy for something else. Maybe a Topo after that chain. And turn 3 is where it all goes down, where if you haven't had a Unison before, you're going to normally be playing a Unison, tapping 2 for Unison. If you've got Veku, drop the Veku, but make sure it's safe to do so first. Get the draw, swing of it if you can, sack it off to grab the materials, awaken, untap the 2, drop the chain, giving your Unison a load of markers. If it's the Go Tanks, once you give them the markers, once you give them the first lot of markers, you're going to drop the Piccolo if you got it, and then take the markers off to look at your opponent's hand, see what they've got, see if you can pressure or go back, and just go in as much as you can, put as much pressure as you can. And if you don't kill them, just basically hold on to the Gogeta and Wolfang Fist ready to defend and protect your Unison. If they swing at your leader, you can comment that, but the Unison you want to use the Wolfang Fist and the leaders and the Gogeta chain to if they swing the Unison, if they don't swing at the Unison and swing at your leader, just try and see if you can tip the hit, sort of like combo out of stuff. And then turn 4, and then after that, turn 4 onwards, you want to keep dropping Never Chain, or even if you can finish off the burn. That's the main. Don't go that really far with this deck. But that's everything. If there's anything I've missed, or any comments, or any questions you have about the deck, or any of the card choices, or if I've missed anything out of what in this video, just comment and ask. And if you enjoyed this video, enjoyed my description of it, basically all the detail I've put into the video, then give it a like. It lets me know that you've enjoyed it, and lets me know that to keep doing what I'm doing. And lastly, if you come across my channel, come across my video, and you like it, give it a subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Give me a sub, and I keep you updated with all my videos that I'm doing, which is at the moment it's just mainly deck profiles, because at the moment, due to the situation, I can't get any actual gameplay. I would love to actually get some gameplay footage of this, but Untap isn't fun to watch, and at the moment we can't really play. Well, I know I can't really play in real life with decks at the moment, which sucks. And you can't get really good viewing from webcam as well. It's better to have 2 people together in the same room playing to watch that. And also I'll be doing cube stuff as well. I'm going to try and get back in the cube stuff and focus on that. I've got the group as well, which will be in the description as well. If you're interested in cube drafting, join the group, join the discussion, and just have fun with alternate format until we can get proper play going back on. But yeah, as I said, thank you for watching, thank you for liking my channel, supporting my channel, liking the video, and I'll see you in the next video, which will hopefully be either some more more deck profiles, maybe an updated one with Hirudegarn in green, or maybe some cube drafting. I haven't decided yet. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.